Hi there, this is the fourth video in my series of Mindfulness Made Easy, specifically aimed for people who are challenged by various forms of neurodivergency and PTSD. And today I want to talk about acceptance and turning to the positive, which is part of the Art of Zen course, but also something that I think requires specific and rather a special kind of perspective put on it for those of us in that category, including myself. I challenge some of the language around neurodivergency. Disability is a useful term when it comes to protecting ourselves through the Disability Equality Act and other kind of terms associated, and legal status and protections associated with the word disability. But I challenge its use as a way of describing oneself. Am I disabled? I have PTSD. I struggle with certain things. There are certain things that re-trigger my trauma and I become someone else. I become a traumatized, terrified person. My behavior changes as a result. I'm defensive. I'm quite strident. That's part of being defensive, I think. Excuse me, coughing. And I think also I struggle with it. And I struggle with being this person when I'm traumatized. And I've had to recognize that this is not who I am. This is the result of something that was done to me from the age of 3.5 years old onwards, by my parents, and then by society, and then by numerous other people whom I allowed to abuse me and traumatize me and impact on that trauma in layer upon layer upon layer, till I became very complex trauma. A lot of people with neurodivergency have been traumatized through various forms of rejection, ridicule, general unkindness, judgments, and a general lack of feeling that we belong. Belonging is an important part of being human. We are social animals. We need to feel we belong. We need to feel we have a group or a tribe. It's taken me many decades to understand that I only need my group, my tribe. I don't need everybody, either socially or emotionally or in any other level. I don't need everybody. I don't need that many people, actually. I need half a dozen. Beyond that, it's all unnecessary. There's going to be a large percentage of people who will never get me, never understand me, never like me, never appreciate me, never value me, and that's fine. And there are people who will put expectations on me when they first meet me, and when I fail to deliver those expectations, they will dislike me and criticize me and judge me and reject me, and that's also fine. That's their choice. That's about them. That's all about them. That's not about who I am. The people who are important in my life, really important, are half a dozen friends, my sons, my stepdaughter, my grandson, my husband most of all, and myself. And I came to myself last, but that's not because I'm the least important, it's because I'm the most important. I have learned to appreciate and value and embrace who I am, as I am, and to say to myself, that's okay. It's okay to be who you are and how you are. You've done your best, as I have. None of us are free from the influences of our childhoods, of our societies, of our socialization processes, of our DNA. Sorry about my coughing. And all the other things that influence us to become who we are. And we have to embrace that as part of who we are and accept it. We are our ancestors. We are our society. We are a mirror of everything that's happened to us. We are a composite. There is some free will in there, possibly, but it's very doubtful whether that truly exists. So we have to embrace who we are and accept we can change. we can develop, we can evolve. I've done massive amounts of all of those things. I haven't always done it in the direction people wanted me to, but I've done it in the direction and in a way that was authentic for me, and that's also important, being true to yourself. So with neurodivergency, I like to reframe the story, reframe the account. I'd like to say my disability comes from other people, from the way society is structured, probably more than anything else, because most people are equally trapped by the way society is structured in their own struggles. We don't make room for people who are different in our society, especially Western culture. We have very clear ideas and ideals of how people should be or not be. We do form expectations and then judgments about other people. And I can't do that. I can't meet those. I can't be what society suggests I should be. I can't change who I am any more than I already have, and I will continue to evolve. But we evolve through experience, and I modify when I notice something about myself and think, oh, that's not quite how I want to present, that's not quite how I want to respond. I try and find ways to modify it. I use my mindfulness practice to become as self-aware as I'm able to become. And again, that's a work in progress. So accepting who we are and why we are the way we are does not mean we stagnate, does not mean we stop evolving and stop developing our mindfulness practice in order to continue developing. What it means is we embrace who we are in this present moment, and we stop beating up on ourselves. We stop punishing ourselves. We stop judging ourselves. There's enough out there on us already. We don't need to do it to ourselves. And the language around ADHD, for instance, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is very limiting. It's suggesting, A, we only have two problems. It's hyperactivity and attention deficits. No, that's not true. There's many much more complicated sides to it, including emotional regulation, rejection dysphoria. I have no problem with concentrating on the things that I'm interested in, but I have enormous problem in concentrating on things that my brain has no connection with whatsoever, and there's nothing I can do to force my brain to go down that pathway. I've tried, I've struggled, I've cried, I've tried to push myself, I've forced myself to go through the pain barrier. It is literally a physical and mental pain barrier. I remember as a child being punished endlessly for not being able to concentrate at school. I was bored out of my mind. And I found small repetitive tasks like picking the paint off the radiator I was sitting next to, or staring out of the window and counting the birds that flew by, or something infinitely more interesting. Even counting the window panes in the windows in the classroom I was sitting in. More interesting for my brain, because it was a form of self-stimulation that was outside of the monotony of the lesson I was being taught. I wasn't disinterested. I was desperate to learn. I was mind-bogglingly frustrated all through my early years by the lack of stimulation in my life, by the lack of diversity in my life, the lack of encouragement, the lack of enthusiasm in my life from other people around me, and this plodding kind of need to somehow absorb all this at the time to me pointless information, which I couldn't understand the relevance of. When I studied and became a teacher, I learned about the Dewey system ideas of education, that everything is made relevant, everything is put into context, everything in education, it comes from basic life skills. And I agree. And I've since become quite a traveller, not as much as a lot of people, but still quite a lot. And I feel that travelling has made sense of a lot of what I did, for instance, in geography or history, but it's also made me challenge a lot of it and recognise that we were given a lot of propaganda in those subjects. I'm getting off the point a bit here, but I'm trying to say that the way our minds work, and we're each of us different. We're not a homogenous group of people who are like same as each other. We're all different. So we all have to identify what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses. What does our brain want to do? My brain likes writing. My brain likes physical activity. My body likes physical activity. I like gardening. I like walking. I like swimming. I go to ballet once a week to build up muscular strength, especially as I'm getting older. I also like quiet. I like quietness and peacefulness. I like being in nature on my own. In my garden, I have a woodland bit at the end, and I like being down there on my own. But equally, I like being down there with one or two carefully chosen people who enhance that peaceness and quietness and a sense of cooperation and working together for a common goal rather than a sense of frustration. So what can you do? What does your brain, what does your mind, what does your body like doing? Make a list of those things. Look at them as positives, not negatives, not what you can't do, not what are the deficits. We've all got deficits. Every single human being alive has got deficits. I know hundreds of people who have no musical talent whatsoever. My husband's a brilliant musician. I've got a great ear for music. I can't play particularly well, but you know, that's not considered a disability in society, and yet in some ways it is, no more or less than ours. So what are you good at? What's great about being your version of neurodivergency? Do you enjoy, are you able to be alone and be peaceful with it, be at peace with it? When I was younger, I was terrified of it. I was made to feel there's something wrong with me because I didn't want to socialise all the time. I was overwhelmed by the noise and the incessant jangling of energy around me. But I forced myself through that because I believed that the only way I could be valued as a person was to show that I was socially very acceptable, very successful. I avoid it with all I can now. Don't want a full diary. I look at a page and I see nothing written in it for the day and I think, oh, that's nice. Not that I don't want to do the things I do, but the things I do, I do them all now out of love, out of a desire that flows naturally from me. I'm not forcing myself to do things that don't come naturally, that don't come with a flow. It's not always that easy. It's taken me an awfully long time to get here, and a lot of experiences and a lot of heartache and a lot of trying things out, experimentation, and a lot of permission given to myself, to say, no, I can't do this. Rather like the first video I made about the long periods of sitting meditation. I can't do this. I gave myself permission to try and experiment with other approaches, and now I do experiment with other approaches, and I found they work for me brilliantly. And that's really about taking that approach into everything we do in life. So let's reframe. We are all part of the interbeing. We all belong here as equally as anything else, not just any other body, any human body, but any leaf on any tree. We are all part of all of that. We are all part of it all. And just as we are, that's okay. We're evolving. Just like the leaf on the tree will evolve and maybe fall off and grow a new leaf the next year and become that leaf will become leaf mold maybe on the woodland floor, become earth lunch, become soil, become compost, become the nutrients that nurture the next beautiful ferns or plants that grow in that piece of ground. But that's still the leaf evolving. So we are all interbeing. We all belong. We all deserve to be who we are, and we deserve to be understood, valued and respected. And equally, we have to do our best to understand and help other people to understand us. I'd like to talk a bit more about relationships in another video, because I want to move on to a guided meditation, which I've done, which tries to help us reframe those issues. I'm just going to call it up on my other screen. So just get yourselves ready. Close your eyes. And just take a few breaths to get yourself into the right space. Make yourself comfortable physically in whatever position helps you. Sometimes I have to sit on my hands to keep them quiet. It's just part of being neurodivergent. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. In and out. Breathing in, I know I am made from the molecules of the universe. Breathing out, I know that all beings, all material forms are made from molecules of the universe. Molecules of the universe, all made from the same molecules. Breathing in, I know I am unique, a living miracle. Breathing out, I know we are all unique. All material forms, all beings are living miracles. All unique, all living miracles. Breathing in, I know I have unique gifts to offer the universe. Breathing out, I know all beings have unique gifts to offer the universe. I have unique gifts. All beings have unique gifts. Breathing in, I know I am learning to let go of all judgments and other mental formations about myself and other beings. Breathing out, I know that I am learning how to value the uniqueness of myself and all other beings. Letting go of mental formations, valuing all beings. Breathing in, I embrace the value of myself and my being exactly as I am. Breathing out, I embrace the value of all other beings exactly as they are. the value of self, the value of all other beings. Breathing in, I accept the challenges I face in this life. Breathing out, I celebrate the differences that give rise to these challenges. Accepting challenges, celebrating the differences that give rise to these challenges. And then when you're ready, just reflecting on those concepts, those approaches in that meditation. Spend some time thinking about yourself and how you can reframe the way you view yourself, the way you view your differences, the challenges in life that you face, the growth that they've brought. Some of the cruelty that I went through in my childhood give me the greatest insights that someone who follows a path of meditation and mindfulness could possibly want. They've also given me some struggles. But those challenges are also things that I have to accept. Life is a challenge. Life is one continuous, long lesson called karma in how to be and how not to be. Things are not good or bad, they just are the way they are. And it's how we embrace them, how we approach them. Bit of a cliche, that one, but it's true nevertheless. That's why it's a cliche. And how we go forward in ourselves, embracing our mindfulness and embracing our neurodivergency and our traumas and the struggles that we have with them, the challenges that we face with them, and see them not as something that's wrong with us, but just how we are in this life, just how we are. Complete and total acceptance of ourselves. And once we accept ourselves, it becomes easier to accept and yet remain true to yourself, but to accept others. So good luck with that one. It's a challenging thing. It's taken me decades. Thank you for listening.